What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Yanks of the Cop. We are here for Champions League match 4. We're going to be at Anfield against Atalanta. For this breakdown, I'm here with my main lads, Andrew and Wahomi. How we doing, guys?
Doing great.
Doing well.
Fresh off that Leicester thrashing. Before we get into it, feel free to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We really do appreciate you guys. We love creating this content and looking forward to doing some giveaways once we hit 150 subscribers. So tell your friends, hit all those buttons, hit those subscribe buttons. We want to give you stuff. Come on.
Right.
That being said, boys, let's get right down into it. This is going to be an interesting game for us. If we win, we clinch top of the group. Automatic qualification into the knockout stages and get some much needed rest for our guys. But we know our injury history. We know we just played 2 days ago. What are you guys expecting out of potential lineups? I mean, it looks like potentially no Thiago, no Hendo, no Trent, no Shaq, no Naby. Andrew, what are you looking for in tomorrow's match?
In terms of a lineup?
General thoughts, lineup, anything you want.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were saying that they kind of expected, I think, Reece Williams to jump into the lineup. I mean, just judging from today's press conference, it looks like Joel Matip is going to get the nod, and I actually agree with that. I think that, he needs a run of games. I don't think you can be overly protective of him, especially with the center back pairing. It would be a little different if he was a midfielder or a forward and he was injury prone like he is, but a center back pairing is really important. You need to get that chemistry down. You need to get that chatter together. You just need to understand how one another moves on the pitch and their general awareness. So I think it's really important for them to get more games. I expect Fabinho to slot in there right alongside Matip. And I just want a clean sheet. I don't think we'll see Milner at right back. I think he'll go with Nico, which I think might put a little stress on our defense. But hopefully they can hold it down. I'm not sure. Is Genie going to start again? I think he kind of has to. I think it has to be Genie, Milner, and Curtis Jones again. It just who else is there really? I don't know if there's anybody else that can slot in for this game. But left back, I mean, I wouldn't even mind seeing Tsimikas come in, give Robbo a little bit of a rest, get this kid some games as well. He's definitely more than capable of doing it. But the front three, I mean, I don't think Bobby's going to start. Obviously, he missed training today with I think a muscle injury.
No, a muscle injury. It was non-injury. Pierce said
it wasn't.
Yeah, no injury.
He said they weren't concerned about it. But anyway, yeah. So he's not going to probably play. So I mean, you got Jota, Mane, and Mo Salah coming back from the false coronavirus testing. So I mean, it's still a fantastic team. I would expect. I'm not really sure what to expect from Atalanta. I mean, are they going to be more defensive? Are they going to play for a draw here? Are they just going to come out and attack? I mean, I think that's all they really know how to do. But it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, with our injuries, it's going to be tough. But, I mean, I definitely take us in this one.
Homie, what are your thoughts on the lineup? Are you expecting more wholesale changes?
Yeah, I think I'm seeing more changes. I don't think he'll play both Fabinho and Matip, especially the fact that Matip, Fabinho they can't play 3 games a week, especially with the 12:30 on Saturday. So I'm expecting Nico Williams to come in and play it as he did the last time we beat them. I think he'll go with them too. Because Matt did the press conference, he probably will play Matip and Williams, and then I'd play Nico Williams at right back, Tsimikas at left back. The midfield, because we're going to need Milner on Saturday, I would rest Milner, and I would actually play Fabinho, Gini, and Jones in midfield. And then a front three of Salah, Mane, and Jota. I don't think it sounds like Minamina's not going to start because the way he was talking doesn't mean he's going to get his chance tomorrow. And I have Origi nowhere near the starting lineup. So that's how I'd play it. I think that would allow us to go through. I don't think Milner can play 3 games in a week at his age.
Milner?
Yeah. We're going to need him for Saturday, so I don't think he can play 3 games in a week. I expect him to perform at top level.
When does Henderson expected back?
Maybe
I
Brighton.
don't think he's trained. Yeah, I don't think he's trained this week, right?
Yeah, maybe Brighton at the push, but maybe not even Brighton. God knows, maybe it could be after that. So I don't know. We don't know when these guys are going to come back. Klopp's not keeping his cards close to his chest.
Yeah,
I like that.
Did Thiago train this week? Is he in training right now?
No.
He's still not. Yeah, so I don't even know what Klopp's going to do as a lineup because he's so hamstrung. I think, when I think about it, I feel like it's going to be Matip and Reece Williams at center back. And then for Brighton, it's probably going to be the opposite. It could be Fabinho and Nat Phillips, maybe something like that. Because just like you said, we can't. Matip, there's no way Matip's playing all 3 games. So if he doesn't play tomorrow, he'll play on Saturday. If he plays tomorrow, he won't play on Saturday. My only thing is just, I don't know if it's a good idea to play Fabinho 3 games in a row either. He's just coming back from injury, so I don't know if you can slot him into the midfield, have him do all that running, and then play center back again. 2 or 3 days later. We're definitely hamstrung in this game. I'm thinking about it. I think it's also going to be Nico Williams on the right, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Tsimikas on the left. But we are so limited in the midfield. If Shaq doesn't play, it has to be Wijnaldum and Curtis Jones. It's just the question of who's going to be the third. There's not going to be any Firmino. Salah is going to come back in. Jota, I would love for Mane to get a rest, but I think he's going to have to play. There's not many guys available right now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the issue, the fact that we haven't got these options, I just feel like you can't play Minamino in the forward line. It doesn't work ever. So I don't think Klopp trusts in the midfield. And you can't play Origi. There's no point. We're never going to play Origi as a striker, and he doesn't work Origi on the wings. So, that's
I don't know, actually. I kind of feel like this could be an Origi game. This could be an Origi game here. I give Mane a rest. He's been playing a lot. I don't know.
No way. I think it's more of a Minamino game than an Origi game. But I think what it comes down to is that this game is actually really important. I think they need to go out, they need to win, they need to get on the front foot very quickly, start the game strong, and get some goals early, and then you can think about resting people. This game is a home game, right? We're at Anfield, so we're home. No travel involved. Then we go to Brighton, and then next Tuesday we have Amsterdam or Ajax at home, Wolves at home, and then Midtjylland, and then Fulham. So and then it gets really busy after that. So I think you need to play as many starters or the best players that we have right now. Forget about rest. Just get the game won, and then we can just rest for Ajax. We can rest for Midtjylland, and then we're going into December with some really a lot of quality and a lot of rest in our squad.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we need to get this game wrapped in one.
But that's why I would put Fabinho and Matip in there together. I don't think you can't play it cautiously here. You can't.
We beat them last time with Gomez and Williams, so I don't think we need Matip and Fabinho together. We beat them 5-0 with them two.
That's true. But if you have Nico Williams in there too,
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to trouble us that much. Also, weekend they drew away to some poor Italian team. I don't know who it was. Some team that wasn't that good the weekend. Their run of form was really poor, so they're not coming into this with lots of confidence. Last time we saw, the only threats was Zapata, was main threat. Otherwise, there weren't that much.
And Williams did well on him. Yeah, Williams did well.
Yeah, there weren't that much of a threat, to be honest. So they're just low in confidence, and I think we just need to play Mane, Salah, Firmino, and then Mane, Salah, Jota. Get their pace will kill them again. Get the match wrapped up by half time, then take players off, and rest up, and knowing that our final 2 games have to spare, and that makes us easy for our running going up to January.
And you get 5 subs in Champions League, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's big. Yeah. That's why I just think you need to hit him in the mouth early. Go for the sucker punch. or the gut punch, and end it by halftime. Take Milner off, take Genie off, take Jota and Mane off, and maybe take Matip or Fabinho, someone like that. Give some youngsters time to run around in the Champions League.
Well, that's a good point about the 5 subs, because I think that actually makes me want to start Fabinho more in the midfield. Just remembering that point, because like what homie said, especially because Milner started last game. I don't know if he played. He played the full game last game. Asking him to play another 60 minutes today, knowing that he's probably gonna have to play some minutes against Brighton as well. I feel like you do have to start Fabinho. Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Jones midfield is still pretty damn good. Definitely good enough to go out and get the win. So I feel like you go with that route, get that early lead that we need, and then you can bring on Milner for 30-minute spell, take off Fabinho to keep him fresh for that game. But what really concerns me is just our limited options in the midfield, and Fabinho coming back from injury. Wijnaldum has just played so many minutes, especially for the national team. I think the biggest thing for me isn't even winning. I'd be happy with the draw if no one gets hurt. I'm petrified of the midfield. If somebody else goes down in the midfield, we could be in big trouble.
I think as well, like when we think about it, it's the fact that we don't want this game dragging out into the second half. Knowing we got a 12:30 start, and having to have Firmino or whoever it is starting playing late in the game, thinking we're still trying to win this game, or trying to make sure we don't lose this game. So, that's what we got. That's why I think that we have to start strong, fast start, get this job done, and then we can make changes and say, look, we've got the job done. Atalanta are finished, and I think they can't handle our front three. If Mane, Salah, Jota, we saw that last time. The pace killed them.
Bloodbath.
And the defense is awful. Their defense is awful. So we should be, as long as we start a fast start, we should be winning this by half time, to be honest, like we did last time.
Well,
what's the word? What's the word on Naby? Have you heard anything about him? I know it's a hamstring, but no severity yet.
Klopp's not saying. He said I'm not giving any. He said one's close. The other ones I'm not saying anymore. So he ain't saying nothing.
He's probably just sick of it. I kind of am too, with the amount of injuries that we've had.
So don't know how long they're going to be.
So we know we need to start fast. I think we did a good job of starting fast against Leicester. We just weren't clinical enough. But the one game where we really started fast was against Man City, and we played a 4-2-3-1. Do you think there's any opportunity that we could go back to our 4-2-3-1? Maybe throw Wijnaldum up there, Minamino up there, somebody like that, just knowing if we can go get a goal or two in the first half, put all the pressure on that bad Atalanta back line, then we can, make our substitutions, go back to the 4-3-3 and sit in a little bit.
I'd say the 4-2-3-1 last time didn't work because of we didn't have a creative player in the midfield to make it work. That's why it didn't work. We weren't clinical, and we didn't have a creative player. And we weren't controlling that game. I would rather not do that and against Atalanta tomorrow.
I think that also puts a lot of stress on those two midfielders too. And that's something that I don't know if we have the endurance for right now. It's something that we need 3 guys in there. We need to own the midfield. We need to set the tempo, and we need to be spraying balls to the guys up front. But they don't have the stamina to run 2 in the midfield against this Atalanta side.
Plus, you've got to remember, it's most likely the same midfield, more or less, you're going to play on a Saturday. Yeah. So can we really afford to do that with those players and expect them to run all day in that way, have to cover that much ground, and then do it again on the Saturday morning? I think that's a big ask.
Huge ask.
Yeah, I'd rather not do the 4-2-3-1. I hope he doesn't do that. Or 4-2-2-2, whatever he played last time. So I think stick to 4-3-3. And just try and get an early goal, and then put Atlanta under pressure.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to help having Salah come back, and he's going to be rested from the whole COVID thing. So one of the things I'm keeping an eye out for is his performance. I think we need a big performance out of him. We need to lean on him a little bit more, and I'm also just kind of curious to see if it is Jota, Mane, and Salah, if we see the same fluidity that we saw last game, because that was some of the most fluid front three I've seen in a long time when he was not in there. And there's been a lot of conversations after that game how Liverpool might be, better without Salah in terms of like ball movement and that sort of thing. I think that's completely rubbish, but I want to give you guys an opportunity to speak on it because I think it's absolutely trash.
That was from that idiot pundit. He was talking about rubbish.
David James.
Daniel, yeah, talking nonsense. Like the disrespect Salah gets in the Premier League is ridiculous. Like he's got the most goals in the Premier, since 2017 after Messi. Only Messi scored more goals than him. He's got the most chance conversion. He's number one for so many different stats in the Premiership. Like, we're not a better team without Salah. Of course, we're a stronger team in depth now, but we're not a better team without Salah. We still need his goals, his creativity. He's still a star man in terms of our attack. So I think it's nonsense to say that, we're a better team without him. And he's getting a lot of stick because of he might go to ground easily, but they scapegoat him and they protect Harry Kane and all these other Grealish and stuff. And they make
look at Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling, I think he has 1 goal this year and 1 assist or something like that in 9 games. Like, if that was Mo Salah, he'd be in the dirt. He'd be in the mud, But because Raheem Sterling's English, nothing's really said about it. But I mean, when every stat that you look up, any attacking stat in the Premier League over the past 3 or 4 years, Mo Salah is definitely easily in the top 3. Goals, assists, yeah.
I saw a stat that said that in Europe right now, I think he's only Lewandowski scored more goals than him, and Haaland. That's it. In Europe right now, wow. And you have to think obviously Mo's, he missed Leicester game and stuff. So only
this year.
Yeah, this year so far. Mo's got
goal
10
contribution.
Okay. Mo's got 10 goals in all competitions. Lewandowski is on 11. I think Haaland's now just gone more than that because he scored more goals today.
Yeah.
So there's not many people that's doing better than him.
Dude, Haaland, by the way, I don't want to change the subject. He already has more goals than R9 in Champions League history. Pretty wild at age 20.
Well, I tweeted we should be going after him. Forget Mbappe, we should go after Haaland. It's miles better than Mbappe.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just think Haaland would just be more of a natural fit than Mbappe would, but that's a conversation for another time. But one of the things I kind of wanted to touch on too is when you think about the group, obviously we want to win this game, we want to get the win so we don't have to worry about it. But how are you guys expecting Atalanta to come out? Do you think they're going to play more for the draw? Because when you look at it, we're sitting at 9 points. They're tied with Ajax at 4 points. So if you're Atalanta, and especially with how the form that they're in, are you just gonna do you expect them to kind of sit in a little bit and try to just play for a draw, or are you expecting them to come out? We thrashed them 5-0 last time, so you expecting them to try and hit us back? Or do you think they're gonna play more, just try and get a point, whatever we can do to get that?
I think they need to win because Ajax is gonna win tomorrow night. They're gonna beat their team, and then they're gonna. So I don't think a draw is good enough for Atlanta. I think they need a win for this one. So I think they're probably going to try and hit us in the counter if they can, in a way, and try and be a bit more aggressive. I think last time they made some mistakes in terms of they were a bit passive in terms of the defensive, and they allowed us to have so much space, and obviously we crushed them for that. So I think they're going to be a bit more aggressive tomorrow night because they need to get a win because the draw's not. I don't think the draw's good enough for them.
Yeah, I mean, especially if we win this match, then they're basically out of it, right? I mean, you got to think Ajax is going to win against Midtjylland, and then because we're going to likely have a skeleton squad against Ajax might win that one as well because we'll have already solidified first place. But so I mean, I agree with Omi. I just think that their attack they're probably going to attack our wingbacks a lot more, especially if it's Nico Williams and Tsimikas if Robertson's sat out. And then I would expect them to try to whip balls in from those corners, just because, when we were talking about the first game, we thought they were, they had an aerial prowess against us, especially attacking wise. So I could definitely see that happen. I think that it's going to attack Nico, they're going to attack Tsimikas, and they're just going to try to whip balls in.
Yeah, I'm really looking at the fixtures as well. I mean, after us, they've got Midtjylland. So for them, if they were to beat us tomorrow night and hope that we beat Ajax, then they go through. So I think for them, they'll go into it tomorrow night thinking we need to get a win here, especially if we play a weakened team.
And that plays into our hands. When teams do that, they leave themselves susceptible to the counter, and that's one thing that we thrive at.
Yeah, I just think the biggest thing I'm going to be keeping an eye out for is, again, I want to make sure that we stay disciplined in the back, keep our shape, but I think it's just going to come down to, can our midfield feed the front three like we did last time we played them? I think if our midfield can control their midfield, because their midfield's crafty. They didn't really show it last time we played them, but they can be crafty. But with how they like to play, they leave themselves susceptible. So I think if whoever starts in there, and I think we're pretty sure Ronaldo and Jones will be in there. If those guys can have a performance like they did last game, this game, then no question we'll dominate them. If we can just find Mane and Salah in space, let them go one-on-one on their wing backs, they're going to have a field day. So that's really what I want to see. I want to see defense stay composed, stay compact. Don't mess around with the ball. I don't care who it is. Tsimikas is really the only guy I want to see bombing forward. Otherwise, when they get the ball, take a touch, hit one of those guys, and then support them. That's all I want to see. Don't mess around with it. Don't give Zapata a chance to cause any problems, because they did have a few chances of us, like a misplaced pass here, misplaced pass there. They had a couple decent opportunities, but they just were not even close to being clinical enough. So that's something I'm keeping an eye out for.
Yeah, I think last time we had Ginny, Hendo, and Jones last time, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jones didn't look that great that game, from what I remember. I thought that was one of his more poor performances of the year. So I'd love to see him bounce back. Because if he played like he did against Leicester, give him a little bit of space, man, he can be dangerous.
Yeah, I think we just need to, like I said before, don't underestimate Atlanta and go into this game thinking it's like going to be another 5-0. But knowing that whatever team we put out should still have too much quality for them, especially now Anfield. And plus Atlanta, like I said, their form's not great. They've not since you last played them, they haven't had the best of form. So they're not going to be really confident. So we should, as long as we don't do anything stupid in terms of like mistakes, then we should be able to get the result tomorrow and trouble them, and know that if they are going to try and attack us, we can just counter-attack and blitz them on the counter-attack.
Yeah, I mean, this game, I've said it already today, but this game for me is seriously a must-win. I mean, I'm just looking at the schedule. From now until the end of the year, we have 10 matches, and that includes the Atalanta game. So if we can win that game, that's more rest against Ajax. There's more rest against Midtjylland. I mean, we don't have too difficult a schedule. The hardest game I think we have is Tottenham at home.
Wolves is a difficult game.
Yeah, Wolves is a difficult game. I mean, they haven't been as rock solid as they were last season. But yeah, I mean, the more rest that we can have with the players, the better. So, I mean, if we can rest in the Champions League, that's huge, especially with the travel to Denmark. So, be big.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is because the best team we're playing is Tottenham. Like we just need our A squad, or as much as the A squad that we have left for that game. Like when you think about Brighton, you can afford to rotate a couple of guys. Like whether Robinson starts tomorrow, and then you can play Tsimikas. Like I'm fully confident in Tsimikas. I know we haven't seen a ton of them, but just the little bit we've seen, he's a very valuable deputy. So there's against Brighton and those bottom of the tier teams. As long as we have 2 or 3 of the front 3 or the 4 of the starting back line, like we'll be okay, and we can afford to do a rotation here and there. But yeah, like you said, if we have to go out and try to get a result against Ajax and Midtjylland, that's going to cause problems for sure.
Yeah, I mean, our games are actually Brighton, Wolves, Fulham, Spurs, Palace, West Brom, Newcastle, Southampton, and Burnley.
Yeah.
Should win all those games, to be
So
honest.
other than
Yeah.
Southampton and Tottenham, I feel like we could have a little bit of rotation in all those games and have no problem getting a result. So I think we got kind of lucky with that festive period, just by the sound of it, just by the competition. So we'll see how that goes. But
Well, you compare our one to Chelsea and Spurs. That's crazy.
what's that?
If you look at Chelsea's,
Oh
they've
yeah,
got
Chelsea Spurs. Yeah.
Spurs at home, Leeds at home, Everton away, Wolves away, West Ham at home, Arsenal away, Villa away, City at home, and then Leicester away. That's crazy. Then Spurs, Chelsea away, Arsenal at home, Palace away, Liverpool away, Leicester at home, Wolves away, then Fulham at home, Leeds at home, Villa away. Those are top. We should, looking at our fixtures, we should have like a good lead by the time we come to January, because they're not going to get maximum points in those, Chelsea and Leicester and Spurs. Those are tough games.
I really want to see how Chelsea does, because they're all Chelsea fans are talking hot shit right now. They've won 6 straight games, including the Champions League game today. But when you look at the teams they've beat, the best team they've beat all year is Crystal Palace. And I'm not kidding when I say the best team is Crystal Palace. You look across the board in the Champions League, in any competition, the best team that they have beaten is Crystal Palace. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. For me, at least in the Champions League, and I guess in general, in the past, we've always said, Liverpool always waits to the last minute. They always make it hard for themselves. This time we have an opportunity just to make it easy for ourselves, win tomorrow, get through, guarantee first place, and then we're on easy street for a little while, hopefully.
Yeah, I think this would be the first time. This would be the first time under Klopp that we clinched in the group without waiting till the last game, I think. Yeah. So that is huge.
My heart needs a break.
Yeah. That's why it is. Just for that respite, having those 2 games to spare is huge. And yeah, it'll just put us in easy street going to in those running games, and we'd have a massive advantage.
Nice. It's really nice.
Have a lot of players.
Okay.
It's
nice not playing Napoli.
I was going to say we have a lot of players coming back too, so maybe we can use those games like against Ajax and against Midtjylland to give Thiago some minutes, to give Oxlade-Chamberlain some minutes. Henderson, a lot of these guys who haven't seen too much time, get them back on the pitch and get the blood flowing. Yeah,
and those are games you can just play Minamino, Origi.
Correct. Yeah.
Just give them
Shaqiri. Yeah.
Give them a run out and just say, look, this is I'd even drop Alisson for those games and play Adrian.
Oh yeah,
because
100%.
They're like rubber games, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. So and just allow them to get some minutes under their belt.
And press the manager.
Yeah, you could even play Leighton Clarkson, because he was in the squad for Leicester game. Give him a run out against Ajax or Midtjylland and say, look, there's no pressure in you, just go out and have some fun.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So to close this out, I want to hear your final lineup prediction, and then we'll get the scoreline prediction after.
My lineup is Alisson in goal, Nico right back, Matip and Fabinho center backs, left back Tsimikas, Gini, Milner, and Curtis Jones, Jota, Mane, and Mo up top. And then scoreline, sorry, I think it's going to be 2-0. I think it's going to be very similar to the Porto game 2 years ago. Or was it last year? When we beat them 6-0 or 5 or 6-0, and then we beat them at home, I think 1-0, or maybe we even tied them. But I think it's going to be a closer game than the first round.
Mine's Alisson, Tsimikas, Matip, Williams, then Nico, Ginny, Jones, I think Fabinho, then Mane, Salah, and
Jota,
yeah. And then scoreline will be, I think we're going to have too much of them again. I'm going to go 3-0.
3-0. I sure hope so. So, yeah, my lineup, I'll say Alisson in net. I think it's going to be Tsimikas, Mati, Williams, and James Milner at right back. And then it'd be Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Jones in the midfield with the same front three, Salah, Mane, and Jota. I just don't see a way where Milner's not in there. I just feel like Klopp loves having Hendo, and if Hendo can't be in there, he wants Milner in there. He's one of his trusted guys. He loves the leadership, and especially the fact that in my situation, I have Fabinho in the midfield, and not a ton of leadership in that back line. Like I don't see Joel Matip as a vocal leader in the back. So I think having a guy like Milner in that back line will go wonders for that team, and it'll allow him to really just sit back and just allow Tsimikas just to keep bombing forward every single time.
Yeah, and Milner, he is 34, but he also hasn't played that much this year. Yeah, he still has a lot of. He's one of the fittest guys on the team. Klopp always says I think he's always first or second in the fitness test, probably behind Genie. But I mean, he hasn't played that much this year. He definitely can afford to get a run of games in him. And then, once everybody else comes back, he'll probably slot right back in there into the bench. But his value.
I just think there's something to be said with starting him at right back, and especially having the 5 subs. You can afford to sub out Wijnaldum, Curtis Jones, those other guys who are running a lot, and especially if you have Tsimikas or Robinson on the left side, you really don't need Milner to bomb forward that much. So he's really not going to be running that much at right back. So he can afford to bring in. What?
So remember Leicester, he was bombing forward quite often though now.
Yeah, he was, but I mean, I feel like when he was in there, they did not attack his side as much as I was expecting. I mean, they did attack his side more than Robertson's side, but I was expecting them every single time they had the ball to bomb down his side, and they really didn't do that as much. Like I feel like they targeted him at the beginning, and then they kind of phased it out when we just slammed him in the mouth. So I don't know. Yeah, all right, but anyway, we'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully the boys go out and get the dub that we all want, so we can get those 2 games of rest and just go full skeleton squad and allow Adrian just to have some fun out there. But that pretty much wraps up this episode. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't yet. We'll be back tomorrow for the post-match Thursday, for the post-match reactions. Until then, up the Reds, and we'll see you next time.
Happy Thanksgiving to all you Yanks.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, Pilgrims.
Thanksgiving.